Hello, my friends. I hope that you are having an incredible day. You're not too tired. Jays last night winning, so much fun, and now today is it's a hard one. Today's like an extra cup of coffee kind of day today, but I'm really excited to be able to have a conversation with Brooke Nicholls as we are working one of her singles. So yes, I'm Hollie Taylor. Loretta is in the back end, making sure all of this runs smoothly, and so we're gonna chat about her new single, about life, because there's been some big changes in Brooke Nicholls' life over the past year and a bit. So let's get to it. Brooke, thank you for making time out of your super busy schedule to hang out with me here on our 1016 live stream.
I love it. Thanks for having me.
Did you watch the Jays game at all or no?
Oh yeah, we were tracking.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that win, but like how exciting.
Oh, I know. And you're lucky because now you're in BC. And so you didn't have to stay up as late as the rest of us.
That's right. That's right. I was texting with my
Oh,
dad back in Ontario and did you see the Jays? And I was like, why are you still awake? Like,
yeah. Yeah. It's past my bedtime. Oh, goodness. Well, Brooke, you, as I mentioned, are in BC. You've had quite the last year and a bit with lots of big transitions. And I would just love to know a little bit more about just what is God teaching you in this season of change? Because I'm sure you're taking away a lot of beautiful nuggets about him.
yeah, I think yeah, so many beautiful nuggets about him. Yeah, I think like I've met the Lord in the last year in a way that I didn't even know that I could. Like, when you go through things in life and you learn new things, um, the Lord brings you to like new depths in Him. And I mean, this is like this is a simple takeaway, but there's a verse in Joshua where the Lord just says like, "I will go with you wherever you go," and I feel that in my life. Like we've moved our family to BC, and although it's been like really hard, just the transition has been hard, leaving family, grieving a life that we once had back home. I feel the Lord like so close and so near, even in like the hardest of days. Like I know that I'm, not alone, and that's been really comforting to me because I just like without Jesus, like I don't know what I'd
Mhm.
do.
Yeah, and it was quite the move from Hamilton, Ontario, all the way to, is it Abbotsford, BC you're in?
Yeah, Surrey, BC, close.
Surrey, BC. Yeah, in that area. But that's a
Hmm.
massive change. I
Yeah.
mean, every province has their own culture, and like to not have that support there. And I know a lot of people will feel that pandemic really displaced a lot of people and they felt just the isolation, the change. So what is something that you're doing practically to just to grow where you're planted?
Yeah, well, I'm really grateful for the church that we're at. I mean, we have great friends and I get to lead a beautiful team. And so, one of the things I love to do, if you follow me, is like I do love to write devotions. And it just like being able to talk to God that way has really helped me and grounded me actually reminded my heart of like who the Lord is. So like when I do go through a hard day or my girls are having a hard day, which still happen,
Mhm,
I can remind not only myself but my girls and my husband of like who the Lord is and his faithfulness. Um, yeah, I'd say that's one of the things that one of the practices I love to do. I've always
mhm.
loved to do that.
Yes, you have. You've got an incredible devotional as well. But I want to talk about your single as it's doing really well out radio, people loving it, whatever you say. I love that title. Let's talk about the song and how it came to be.
Yeah, well, the song actually, the initial prayer of this song came from my husband Steve, which I love because us moving out here, it wasn't just the Lord told me that we have to come. It was like the Lord had to tell us as a couple that we needed to come, and it was hard to reconcile with because we had a whole life in Hamilton. We had just
Yeah.
had our second baby. We had just bought our second home. Steve had just built a studio, like all the things that we had been like working towards. We kind of felt like, yeah, life was good. And then when the Lord said, like, take this job out there, like it's for you, it felt hard to reconcile with, if I'm being honest. We didn't want that job. We weren't searching out that job. But what we realized is that the Lord called us and we needed to be obedient. And I've learned a lot about obedience. I've learned a lot about surrender. Obedience, it doesn't always look like what we think it's going to look like. It doesn't happen often on our timeline. It's sometimes inconvenient and it's costly. But if we say that we love the Lord the way that we do, and as me as a worship leader, I stand on stages and I like express my love for Jesus to him, encouraging other people to do the same. And I just feel like, how could I stand on stage and lead worship authentically, but then like ignore the voice of God? That feels like hypocritical. And so
Mhm.
we knew what we needed to do. And it's been hard because there's been a lot of grieving, a lot of tears, a lot of questions, but also like I'm grateful. I'm grateful that the Lord has brought us here because, like I said, like there's a new depth in Him that I have gone to that I didn't know I could go to. And I mean, for that, I'm grateful.
I totally resonate with what you're saying because I did the reverse move from Edmonton to Toronto, and it takes, they say, about 4 years before you feel like, "Okay, yeah, this feels like it's home." It's, not so much growing on you, but you're growing in that community, and so I
Mhm.
think, yeah, I totally feel that. But isn't it interesting how you can hold in one hand 2 emotions, the gratitude and the grief?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's like I've read about that. I've read about, being able to carry like 2 emotions could live together in the same space, but it wasn't
Mhm.
until I really, like, lived it out that I was like, "Oh, like, I have joy because, like, Jesus is my best friend." Like, I have joy in him, but, like, I feel really sad still, and so,
Yeah.
yeah, it has been an interesting journey, but, I just, like, I don't mean to sound cliche by this, but, like, God is so good. Like, he really is someone who keeps his promises, and I feel like I have lived out and felt every one of those promises in the last 14 months.
That's beautiful. So, what is God saying to you?
Well, I think, like, I just, like, am reminded that, like, he cares for me. He didn't bring me and my family here to, like, abandon us or to hurt us. He brought us here because he loves us. He brought us here because he knows that my love for the church, my love for leading people into worship is deeper than anything else that I have to offer, and so he loves us, and so that's just something I always have to remind myself. It's like, "No, like, the Lord is for me. The Bible tells me God is for me." And so that's just it's a good, yeah, it's just like I said, a good reminder to my heart to keep going.
Yeah. So, how has this move and this new season of life changed your approach to writing music and the kinds of songs that you're creating?
Yeah, I mean, I can really, as a writer, only write from what I'm feeling and what I've lived through. Um, you couldn't throw me in a writing room and say like, write a song about. I'd be like, oh, like I would struggle. And so this is really like this last 14 months of like this lived experience has really like brought me, like I said, closer to Jesus. And it's just like my heart for him is like nothing else I've ever experienced. And so like from that, of course, come all these songs. I just sit at my piano at night, I'll cry, I'll pray, I'll whatever, and I'll just play. And whatever you say, that's kind of how it came about. It was just this prayer of like, I want to be that person that follows the Lord. I want to be that person that listens to his voice and responds. Um, I want my kids to see me as their mother who like knows Jesus and loves him and does what he says. And one of the lessons that like we've been teaching I have two little girls, 4.5 and 2. Um, a lot of the times they'll say to me, "Why are we here? Why do we come here?" And Steve and I get to say, "Well, we came here because God told us to come here." And it's like, I just hope that this is a lesson that they'll never forget and that as they grow up, that they will also like do the things that the Lord is telling them to do because That's the kind of people, that's the kind of family we want to be.
I wish God called us to easy things, not the hard things.
Yeah. Or like to like Hawaii or
Yeah, right? I'm calling you to manage $10 million. Okay. Oh, goodness. Well, speaking of hard things, as we look across our nation, there's definitely some challenges, just nationwide, politically, economically, socially. And you did something very unique with whatever you say when it comes to bringing together our country. Do you want to share the Canadian connection to the song?
Yeah, so we wrote the song when we arrived in BC, and then, like, of course, we're pastoring, multiple sites and just like raising two little kids, and life kind of got crazy. And we had wanted to put the song out because we were going on tour. Well, the
Yes.
song didn't get put out in time for our tour, and I felt really bummed about that. But then, like, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks before we left for tour, I came up with this idea. I'm like, why don't we record? Why don't I? Because we were going to sing the song. So the tour was called the Whatever You Say Tour. So then I was like, well, why don't we just bring the song and teach it to the crowd every night? And let's bring mics with us and record it. And then at the end of the tour, put every room across Canada that we were in together to make one big sound, one big choir, and then put that on the song. And so, oh, God's timing is so perfect because it was such a beautiful moment every night. From Ontario all the way out east, we captured voices and people singing the song. And it was so beautiful because people picked it up instantly. Like, I didn't even have to really teach it to them. I sang it for them, and then I said, could we sing this together? I want to put you on this song. And people were cheering. They were so excited. And it sounded like when the rooms would sing it back to me, it sounded like this deep prayer from them. And it just felt like overwhelmingly beautiful.
Oh, so how many voices do you think are on it, roughly?
Oh my
Math
goodness.
time.
I bet you there's, yeah, I'm like, oh, not my strong
Carry
suit.
the
I bet you there's about
two.
2,500 voices on there.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So
incredible.
really, really special. Really, really special. Maybe more actually. But
Yeah.
yeah, Steve, he's such a beautiful producer. And so he was able to bring it home and mix it all together and combine it. And yeah, just really, really special. And as I shared about this song, one of the things that I'm learning, Holly, is my story isn't a standalone story. There are so many people like yourself who have gone through transition and just grieved for years over it. But I feel like it's not talked about because you almost feel embarrassed, or you feel like you shouldn't feel sad about leaving and going to somewhere else, especially when the God's called you. But
Mhm.
I think, like, me opening up about my heart, like, I'm grateful that I'm here. I love that I'm here. But like, it was hard, and I grieved for a year over it. And I learned that just so many other people are in my same shoes and have gone through the same thing. And so it was really cool because, I mean, dozens of people throughout the tour, we were just able to encourage one another and just kind of like be on that same level. It was really cool.
Yeah, we don't really grieve well as a society. We think it's just, somebody passed away, so now you can grieve. That's the socially
Right.
acceptable season of grief, but you can grieve anything that is a sense of loss. And I love that you're able to share this story and bring to light these massive changes that do bring about grief, point blank. So, thank
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
so much for sharing your story. And now you're writing music to keep us company in our seasons of grief, no matter what it looks like.
Yeah, that's
And to give
right.
us hope in that. I don't want to leave it there.
Yeah. 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 And to point you to Jesus. It's all about
Yes.
Jesus.
Exactly, exactly. BrookeNichols.ca is the website to go to. Her new single, Whatever You Say, is going to radio. So, stations, if you're playing the song and you went to one of her shows, you might be on that track too. But no songwriter credits, I don't think. No, no performance royalties. Brooke, thank you so, so much for taking time today. I know your schedule is super packed, but it's always such a wonderful blessing to be able to chat with you.
Thanks.
Brooke Nicholls, and yes, she's in BC. Her songs are being played across our country. So just a huge thank you to all the stations who have said yes to her song already. If you have yet to listen to it, it's on the fence. It's something that you are hoping to add. I do hope that you can get to it. And just, if you've got a story of encouragement from it, you can always let us know too. We can pass it along to Brooke. But Radio, thank you so much for all of your support. If you are needing more information or anything like that, make sure you reach out to me, Loretta, or Robin at 1016. And we will do this again. Of course, we will. So thank you for joining us here today.